I found a setting in ChatGPT that I think everyone should know exists. I just don't think you can be intentional about using AI if you don't know about all the decisions you're making by default when engaging on these platforms. And so by default, many ChatGPT users allow their future conversations to be used to help improve OpenAI's models. So know those commercials that deliberately say between you and me are not giving you the full story. The part that bothers me is that a lot of people don't even realize this setting exists. So let me show you where it is. So we're going to open up ChatGPT and we're going to come here to the bottom left hand corner where the icon is showing with our name. And we're going to click on that, and then we're going to go to settings. And in settings, we're going to go down to data controls. And in data controls, you can see up here at the top, it says improve the model for everyone, which is what I'm not so crazy about because it sounds so like, oh yeah, sure, that sounds nice. I'll improve the model for everyone. But it doesn't explicitly explain that your conversations will be used for model training. It doesn't make that explicit. So if you're cool with that, you can just leave this on. If you're not, you can just come here and then click this blue toggle. So that's off. Make sure it's off. Just make sure it's off. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's off. And then you're going to hit done, and then you're good. And make sure before you leave that it says off. I know that when I did this, it was super sneaky. I would click off and then hit done, and then it'll be on still. Seems like they fixed that. Maybe it was just a bug, but I was like, oh, this is sneaky on sneaky, but it looks like that they're not that sneaky anymore, which is good. So, yeah, that's it. Hey, so I was editing my video like right here, and I realized like, I should really explain why you should care about this, why you may not care, and why you may want to care. And so just quickly going off the top of my dome, this isn't meant to be a deep dive video, but reasons why you may not care is because your information, your conversations won't be linked to your identity. So it's not like someone's going to be talking to ChatGPT and they're going to be like, hey, ChatGPT, I have this rash on my bottom and it's doing XYZ. And then ChatGPT is going to respond and say, like, oh, interesting. That sounds like a conversation I had with Jim, age 29, from Minnesota, who also has a rash on their butt. Like, ChatGPT isn't going to start doing that. And so whatever you tell the model, it won't be linked back to you. And because of that alone, you may not care what OpenAI does with your information, what it does with your conversations. Additionally, sharing your conversations with OpenAI will indeed help improve their models faster. And so, if you care about OpenAI coming up with new models that are more human-like, or they're better at inferencing, or or just more impressive, quicker, and faster, I think that is something that is much more likely to happen when you release this information. And so those are the top two reasons as to why you may not care. Reasons why you may want to care. And again, not a deep dive. I didn't do like hours of research on this. This is just like off the top of my dome from what I've been consuming from this AI conversation. And it's been in conversation already for a while, since the beginning, that we should be slowing down the rate in which we develop these AI models, not speeding up. And I think it says so much that the founders and the leaders of these AI labs are like looking at each other and hoping that something happens to give them the permission to slow down, because even they see how dangerous it is and no one's slowing down. So why are we giving our conversations to OpenAI to speed back up, And I mean, so much has happened from when they introduced this setting to now. I can't remember. I want to say this was back in March when they introduced this setting, but I can't remember. But I think GPT 5.5 was released after they introduced that setting, which is insane, which says a lot. Because when GPT 5.5 was released, that was a model that was rated higher than the model that Anthropic removed because it was too scary to release. GPT 5.5 is more powerful than that model. And you can already see if you're using ChatGPT and all the different models that they have available, like it is getting scary good. And so it's the wheels have already been turning for quite a bit, and it's only been a few months. And so it has been making quite a difference. And there's, again, so much to talk about on that topic. And if you're interested in talking more about that topic, just leave a comment down below. And then the second reason why you may want to care is because, again, what I've been saying throughout this video, I just think it's super unethical that most people don't even know that OpenAI is indeed using their conversations to train their models. People have this idea that what they tell ChatGPT is staying where they put it, and that's not happening by default. And the fact that these new rounds of OpenAI commercials are now leading with like between us or between you and me, just implying that the conversations are private, even though we've talked about technically they are anonymous, but subtly encouraging people to go on the platform and divulge their secrets and like things they wouldn't tell anyone else. I truly believe that if more people were more aware that their conversations were being used for model training and they weren't staying where they were placed on the platform, I feel like more people would opt out of that. And OpenAI knows that, and so they made that privacy switch super subtle. And so I'm just letting you know that that's an option, and I just think it's important that you know that. Okay, now back to the main footage. So I know this isn't the most exciting ChatGPT tip. It won't make your prompts better, it won't make you more productive, but I think it's an important one because this isn't really a privacy video. It's a video about choice. And whether you leave that setting on or turn it off is completely up to you. I just think our decisions are only really ours when we know we're making them. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure you knew that option was there. And if you are someone who enjoys learning more about productivity and how to prioritize your day in a way that's more efficient, I made this video where I talk about how to prioritize your day, not using ChatGPT, but that's totally welcomed and fine. I'll stop talking. I'll see you in the next one.